your name could be the next one in the Death Note. Dum dum dum. Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So in this video I'm embarking on a project to read the entirety of the Death Note series. So some of you know that this has been coming for a long time. Okay, I'm going to put it down because it's heavy. More like I have no upper arm strength. But anyway, so my history with this series started last year when almost exactly a year ago I read the first 2 volumes of Death Note and I absolutely flew through it. I loved it and I knew that I wanted to read the whole series. But there was a catch. So I got these 2 volumes secondhand from my favorite secondhand bookstore here in Prague. And like it wasn't the cheapest, like even cheap books, like secondhand books here in the Czech Republic, like I got these for like maybe like 5 euros each. We don't use euros, but for simplification I will use euros in this video. And I wanted to read the whole series, but I didn't want to pay that much money. Like not all of the volumes were available secondhand, so I would probably like need to buy the complete set. And that is quite pricey. So I read these 2 volumes in English. Obviously it was originally published in Japanese, written by Tsugumi Oba and the artist being Takeshi Obata. And then my library didn't have the rest of the series in English. So that's mostly where I got stuck because I wanted to finish the series in English when I started in English. But then this year I really wanted to do the project of reading the whole series and I still didn't want to pay for it. So I was like, okay, let's just get the rest of the volumes in Czech from the library. So I got all of these volumes from the library. They were also in different branches, so I had to travel there across town sometimes. And then for the volumes that weren't available at the library, I got the remaining 2 volumes, again secondhand and in Czech. So in the end, I managed to collect in some way or another the whole series, and I actually want to calculate in the end of this video how much I actually saved on going through all of this instead of just buying a new set. Some of the library volumes aren't in a nice condition, but well, we're just going to work with it. So that's how I got all of the volumes. And as a warning, there will be spoilers ahead because you will be getting my real-time reactions to each of the volumes. So if you haven't read the series and you don't want to be spoiled, well, go read the series and then go back to this video. If you have read some of the volumes, you can watch up to that point when I talked about that volume. And yeah, if you have read the series or you don't mind the spoilers, go ahead and watch the whole thing. So Death Note, in case you don't know and you're watching this video, is a Japanese manga series in which a death of God drops a notebook of death into the human world, and a student named Light picks it up and he realizes that if you write someone's name in it, they die. And he starts playing with it, and soon the police, FBI and agencies like that pick up on that someone is killing people and it's weird. And so this great hunt begins between Light and all of the people who are trying to catch him. It's thrillery, it's paranormal, and it's very entertaining. So as I've mentioned, I have read the first 2 volumes, so I will reread these first and then I will read all of the new to me volumes. So with all of that being said, let's get to reading. Okay, volume 1, let's do it. I just looked up that I read this volume almost exactly a year ago, but yeah, I can definitely use the refresher. And I also want to time myself or how long it will take me to read a volume approximately, so that, you know, I have some estimate of how long this project will take me. I'm not used to reading manga at all. I've only read a couple in my life, so the reading from right to left might be slowing me down a little bit, but otherwise it still should be pretty quick. Okay, so volume 1 is done. It took me exactly 1 hour and 3 minutes. Also, I think that the further volumes might take me longer because this was a reread. So in this book, obviously, we get the whole setup. So Ryuk, who is a god of death, is bored and he drops the notebook in the human world, and Light picks it up. And yeah, the whole kind of chasing between Light, who has been nicknamed Kira, and then we have L, who is this mysterious figure, and yeah, he's trying to chase Kira before Kira can kill him. We start the discussion about morality of it all, but it isn't discussed that much. But yeah, Light definitely gets some superior savior complex, like, yeah, I'm going to just make the world a better place and this is the right way. Light is very smart but also very cocky, and so yeah, it's just so fun to start following the hunt and the scheme that he comes up with near the end, with the criminal that like hijacks the bus, and you know, the way he discovers the FBI agent. So fun to watch. And yeah, even though it was a reread, I was glued to it the whole time. So yeah, still enjoying it. And now on to the second volume. Volume 2 is done, and obviously I'm still not surprised by anything because this was also a reread, but from the third volume it should get more interesting, at least for me, hopefully for you as well. But let's start talking about women in Death Note, shall we? So for one thing, when I was first reading the first 2 volumes last year, I for some reason thought that Elle was a woman for like maybe like the whole first volume and maybe like part of the second volume before they had the meeting with the police force, and then I was disappointed that he's a man. But that's like that was just like, you know, my misunderstanding. But the thing that bothered me the last time I read the first 2 volumes was how all the women that were mentioned so far in the series are portrayed as very naive and, you know, quite unimportant, and that's the case in this volume as well. Like, we have the female FBI agent, and yeah, it's really weird that she would act the way she did. And I was told that like the misogyny gets better in the series as we go further through the volumes, so I'm curious about that. But yeah, so far it's not great. As far as the story in general, it is still pretty great. And yeah, I'm surprised that Elle has like narrowed down the suspects so quickly, because right now I don't know what all of the other volumes are going to be about. Okay, so I'm halfway into volume 3 and like Light was killing people while Elle was watching him on camera, and then Elle is now attending the same college, and he came up to Light and he was like, "Hey, I'm Elle." And now he's like, "I think you're actually Kira." What? What is happening? Okay, so he and then they, oh my god, oh my god, like the talks between Light and Elle really remind me of Crime and Punishment. And then there's another person with a death note, and it's some girl. Okay, this is picking up speed. Okay, so volume 4, so this is now the second volume I'm reading in Czech. And yeah, obviously the terminology is different, but so far the translation is probably good, since I can't check with the original. It's hard to say, but yeah, it's not like blocking my enjoyment or anything like that, at least not much. So Light is now officially on the investigator team, and then we have this girl, I think we still don't know her name, but tell me why she's instantly sexualized in the way she's drawn. But otherwise, the way she's like broadcasting the secret information about the death note, and Light is like, "My god, you idiot, what are you doing?" That is funny. And there are more and more new rules emerging about the death note, and I'm just waiting to be completely lost in it. Like, I don't remember all of them, but so far it makes sense. But yeah, like, there is quite a lot of them by now. Okay, I have finished volume 4. Excuse the lighting, we're just not going to think about how it's dark at 5 p.m. We're just not going to think about it. We're just going to read and it's going to be okay. But okay, Miso is a fun character. And now Light is like, oh my god, maybe I am Kira and I don't even know it. Maybe I'm getting a little bit lost in the rules, like with the 2 notebooks. And doesn't Elle already know that like Kira can plan murders in advance? So the fact that Light will be like in prison and won't have access to information, like it won't prove his innocence. I don't know. I'm reading volume 5 and I'm officially confused, because I only now realized that Light has forgotten that he was Kira. Like, I know that he told Ryuk to like throw away the notebook, but yeah, somehow it didn't register. So yeah, I guess Light now doesn't remember, and I wasn't caught up to that. And now I'm not sure like where, do we know where his notebook is? Like, I guess that the notebook that belonged to Misa is now like in the hands of the corporation. I don't want to have to go back and reread stuff, like I don't have time for that, but yeah, because like from the beginning it was like the reader kind of knows everything and the characters don't, so I don't know if that's going to be the case during the whole series, so that like it might make sense if I'm confused. But if the reader is always supposed to know everything, then yeah, I might get confused. Also, it kind of became clear that the author is just taking a piss when it comes to the Death Note rules. Like, you cannot kill humans at the age of 124 and over with the Death Note, or you cannot kill humans with less than 12 minutes of life left in human calculations. Like, okay, sure. Okay, so volume 5 has Light now actually forgotten that he was Kira, because I somehow missed that, and now it seems that he actually doesn't remember. And I might be hitting a little dip in my enjoyment. I think it's partially because like I really like the mind games between Light and L, and now they're actually cooperating. And also suddenly there's a big corporation that has one of the death notes and is killing people for corporate reasons. And like I don't necessarily need to hear more about corporations outside of my work, but anyway, when one of the guys working with L went to the corporation and they caught him and then they went to a party, that was a bit unhinged. But anyway, maybe one of the weaker volumes, and yeah, let's just keep on moving. Volume 6 done, and we are so back. Oh my god, this volume was so good. Like all of the drama or the TV program and the car hunt. Yes, Higuchi is such a good villain. Also, Misa is a star. I really like her. So both Light and Misa have their memories back, and now Light is like, oh hey Misa, go to the forest and dig up the notebook and then you can kill L because you have seen his real name. And she's like, oh my god, I don't remember the name. that is perfect. There were too many names. L is dead. But we have too many L's. Look, obviously I use library books all of the time, but this copy in particular is grimy, and I just found a dead insect inside. So I'm just like, let's get this over with. So I finished volume 8, and it became clear that L was my favorite character, because now when he's dead I miss him. But as I said, we have like too many L's. So basically, like in an orphanage, there are like kids being specifically trained like to become the next L. And now the best of the kids, I mean, by that time they're probably adult, but just like young guys. So yeah, the best of them is now working for this secret organization trying to catch Kira, and they're cooperating with Light and his team. And then the second best guy, who is bitter about the fact that he wasn't the best, like created his own crime organization. So now the two organizations are battling each other, and all of them obviously want to get to Kira first. And yeah, obviously none of them know that Light is Kira. Quite enjoying the new characters, like this chocolate eaten villain. Volume 9, I mean, Light's dad died and he was convinced that Light is not Kira, so that is good for him, I guess. And Nier is good, and Mello is also good. And now Light is being cornered and kind of almost panicking a bit, but we still have 3 volumes to go. Okay, this cover is disturbing. Do you see that? I don't know. So volume 10 was another one that was kind of meh. Like, it's just not the same without L. It's not the same. 2 volumes left, and I do hope that the final battle, or whatever, the conclusion, is going to be epic. Fingers crossed. Mello is back, just in time. And Nier and Light are about to meet. And yeah, one more volume to wrap everything up. This cover though, this one is pretty. Okay, I have finished. So the final battle was pretty epic. I'm happy with how it ended up. Poor Misa though, I hope she will move on. And yeah, I love that Light was destroyed because Mello and Nier, you know, kind of got together, like got to cooperate in the end in a way. Yeah, obviously it would have been best if L finished Light and didn't have to die, but yeah, this was also pretty satisfactory. What a ride, right? Can't believe it's over. By the way, the mask that Nier was wearing at that meeting was like the creepiest thing of the whole series. And just like that, I finished the whole Death Note series. I'm so glad this is over. I mean, I obviously really enjoyed it. Some volumes I enjoyed more and some less, as you could see, but yeah, this project has been in my mind for quite a while, so I'm just really happy that I have finally completed it. To sum it up, I would say that the first 4 volumes were amazing. The initial mind games between Light and L were just so entertaining to watch, and then it hit a little bit of a dip in the further volumes. And then obviously L's death was a huge plot twist, and it was a big thing for me because I fully realized that L was my favorite character and it just wasn't quite the same without him. Not necessarily bad, but yeah, it was totally different. But still, the characters that replaced him were quite good. So yeah, I definitely preferred like the first third of the series, but I'm still really glad that I actually read the whole thing. Now I want to go through the calculations on how much I saved by getting all of the volumes secondhand or from the library instead of buying a new set. So I have my laptop here, and I went back to the records from last year because that's when I got the first 2 volumes, and apparently I actually got the first 2 volumes for store credit from that secondhand bookstore. So that is 0. And this year I got volumes 3 and 5, and volume 3 I also got for store credit because I just sell books there all of the time. And then for the 5th volume I paid around €5, and then the rest of the volumes I got from the library, which is technically, well, almost free. I pay €3 a year as a membership, but I did pay like €1 for 3 of the volumes to be delivered to a closer branch because I just ran out of time and I couldn't be like going to 3 different outskirts. So that brings the total to €8 for the whole series, which I think is pretty good. And I looked up how much like it costs here to buy the whole set, and the cheapest one I could find was €42, which means that I saved €34. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. You may ask, what's next now? So all of these library volumes will obviously go to the library where they are almost due. So yeah, we finished just in time. And for the 4 volumes I currently own, I will probably try to sell them back again. So the whole series will probably be leaving my apartment as of now. I am done with the series for now. I might reread it sometime in the future, but for now it's done. I know that's also the anime, but I'm not really interested to watch it. I might, but yeah, not super excited because I just prefer consuming stories like either, you know, in TV format or movie format, or to read them. And I don't necessarily like to read like consume the same story in both format. I know that like most people like adaptations, but I'm just like usually prefer one or the other. But that would be all for this video. Thank you so much for going with me on this project. Let me know if you have read Death Note or if you have seen it. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!